Welcome to Catch Outdoors. I'm your host, Captain Rob Modes. This podcast is about living and playing in the Florida Keys. I cover my favorite sport, fishing, but also all the many things to see and do down here in the islands. Thank you so much for tuning in, and now it's time to kick back and relax with me in the Keys. This week's episode of Catch Outdoors is number 168. Happy holidays. Catch Outdoors brought to you by Spotify and little old me. Title for this week's episode is Fishing on a Perfect Day. More about that in a little bit. Let's see. This is Monday the 9th. Oh my goodness. Christmas Eve is now only 2 weeks from today's podcast. Better get those cards in the mail, put up some of those decorations. Actually, home decoration is on the list for me today. Let's see. Let's do a little bit of Keys weather. Winds are still around, but nowhere near as bad as they've been. Mostly northeast, east, about 10. Every now and then we get gusts of 15. A little breezy today, actually. There are ways to hide on the water, providing you do mostly inshore fishing. Offshore, you put up with the breeze and the swells, but got a big boat. I don't think it's a problem right now. I've watched the dive boats go out, so I know people are actually getting out there. It's also very dry still. Almost no rain in the forecast except a low chance on Wednesday, and then dry the rest of the week. Nighttime temperatures are in the low 60s and highs are in the 70s. Today was unusually warm. Today started this morning at around 70. Noticeable when I walked out the front door. Tides are pretty good for fishing. We're coming up on the full moon on Saturday. We have high tides in the very early morning and then lows in the late morning. And then another high in the late afternoon, just before like sunset, like 4:30 to 5 o'clock. Cold fronts have been pushing through, but are losing some of their punch by the time they get down this way. So we haven't had another one of those great big Arctic blasts out of Canada yet. Well, we have, but not recently. Let's see, the ocean temperature just off of Key Largo is 77 degrees. The temperature in the backwater was about 66. When I started fishing back on Friday, but it's gone up since then. And I haven't checked it, so I'm not sure what. But it warmed up as I was fishing too. Let's see. That pretty much covers the weather. It's beautiful. It's absolutely drop dead beautiful. It's been sunny every day. It's been a reasonable amount of wind without getting too crazy, which basically cools you off. Outside dining is in now. I mean, you can get a table outside and it's very comfortable. That kind of stuff. It's beautiful. It's really pretty right now. Up next, red tide report for this past week for Florida's East Coast. I am not doing a total red tide report because basically I just do Keys now. I mean, if you need to know West Coast, Upper East, Northeast, and all that fun stuff, look it up, baby. It's all online. And most people don't want to hear it anyway. So anyway, East Coast, no Cape Brevis was observed. So that pretty much covers East Coast all the way down to Key Largo. I don't know if they even test for it around the Keys unless it becomes a issue traveling south. So I haven't seen a report for the Keys. Let's put it that way. Let's see. Janelle and I spent the afternoon on Sunday as a vendor at the 7th annual Shop, Jingle, and Mingle here in Key Largo. Sponsored by Cirque Salon Studios in the nearby Publix Plaza, which is right up the road. Actually, it's down the road from us, technically. Selling books. Sold quite a few of my latest title, What I Know About Fishing the Florida Keys. Met a lot of folks, made some new friends. It was really great. I've said this before, the Keys in general, just a 100-mile-long small town. And we love being a part of that on a permanent basis instead of traveling down every other weekend and whatever else we were getting away with. It's nice to live here. And we ain't going anywhere. Not if we can help it. Here's a note about my first book while I'm mentioning book sales. What I Know About Fishing Southwest Florida, my quote bestseller, and it is by far. I've run down now to the last 15 books, and there won't be a reorder on hard copies, okay? They'll be gone. I've set a few back for myself just to archive, on the shelf kind of thing, but they won't be for sale anymore from catchoutdoors.com. No worries though, if you If you don't need a signed copy, they're available on Amazon, Amazon Books, so you can order it there. And it's also available, that particular title is also available on Kindle, so you can get it that way. If you insist on an autograph, you can buy a copy from Amazon. Next time you see me, visit, you're in the Keys, call me and I'll get you, make sure it gets autographed for you. But yeah, I got to wind that one down. The other books are still in stock. Let's see, the Bridge to Paradise, What I Know of Fishing, obviously the new one. I've got plenty of those left. And Take a Kid Fishing. That's winding down a little bit, and that won't be a reorder either. I'll let that go to Amazon. But I think I'm still sitting on 40 or 50 of those books, so that shouldn't be a problem. And so check it out. Get books. Books make great gifts. It's that time of year. I can certainly get it to you on time if you order it through catchyOutdoors.com. I'm happy to sign them for you. And also, if you send me a side email and you want me to sign it to somebody, I'm happy to do that as well. And you can get it before Christmas if you do it real soon. All right. Speaking of writing, my latest article is in the Coastal Angler Magazine Keys edition. I mentioned this last week, and I always try to do it 2 weeks in a row for those that might have missed it. Check it out online at coastalanglermag.com. Just search for the Keys edition. And I appreciate you reading it, and I appreciate you being a part of that rag, that Keys. It's all over the place, actually. Coastal Angler is in many, many areas of Florida. It's a franchise magazine, so free when you go into like tackle shops, marinas, whatnot. Some restaurants actually have it. So pick one up next time you see it. And if you're in the local area where you have it, by all means, pick your local one up. It's got a lot of great news. It's got fishing articles in it, as well as how-tos. And I think there's tide reports and things like that as well. So check it out. Let's see. Next up, here's a rundown of the upcoming concerts at the Key West Theater. So hang on, I'm going to pull that. I didn't write all these down because there were far too many of them this time. I told you I was going to start doing this and giving you some more music information. And it got complicated. It was real easy in the summer because there wasn't a whole lot going on. And of course, wintertime is most areas of South Florida and Southwest Florida. You can draw a line across the state, like below Lake Okeechobee. And what you get is we all celebrate winter by having our outdoor festivals. It's just the opposite of up north, where you do it in the summer because you can't do it in the winter. We don't want to do it in the summer. It's too daggone hot. So all this stuff happened at once. I thought, well, I'll catch up. So here you go. For information, this is Key West Theater, which is in downtown Old Town in Key West. Fantastic theater. They serve food and drinks. They have tables instead of lined up chairs like at a normal auditorium. So everybody is assigned a table. You sit at, you meet friends at the table. It's really a great experience, and the sound quality in the place is excellent. If you can get a balcony seat, which is harder to get, but if you're looking for tickets, you get a balcony seat. That gives you your own private restrooms and your own private bar. Yeah, they're usually gone first for shows, but just so you know. Coming up, Brett Young is going to be there on March 8th. Chicago will be in concert on January 31st. The Gypsy Kings, I love them. February the 8th. Willie Nelson and Family, February the 17th. The Beach Boys will be there. The Endless Summer Gold Tour, February the 28th. Any of those shows, if you go to Ram's Head Southernmost, which is a great big area down on the southern end, I should say, of Duval. It's a restaurant, hangout, music, that kind of place. If you get dinner there on the night of the concert, you get 10% off by showing your ticket. So either if you go before the concert or after, on the same day, you get 10% off your meal. That's a really cool place, by the way. Let's see. What else do we have here? I've tried to give you some of the local flavor, too, in music at the bars in Key West, and it's just, again, too extensive to list. So I'm going to mention the available online calendars and suggest them each month at the beginning of the month, and as a way to plan what artists you might want to see while you're down this way. Starting up here in Key Largo, the Caribbean Club and Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill have calendars online for the bands that are playing there. I call them bands on the run. Also, be sure to check out Snook's Bayside and Bayside Grill and Sunset Bar. If you see Steve Webb on the list for the Sunset Bar, go. You won't be disappointed. The nice thing about all four of these, Caribbean Club, Big Chill, Snooks Bayside, and Bayside Grill, Sunsets, they all are right on Florida Bay, and they face west-northwest, so you get a really nice sunset this time of year going down over the bay. So keep that in mind. Yay. Also, the food's good at Caribbean doesn't do food, but Jimmy Johnson's does. Snooks Bayside. Snooks Bayside's excellent food, as a matter of fact. And so is the Bayside Grill. They have an upstairs inside restaurant, so you can get height. If you want to look out at the sunset from on high, you can do that, as well as a ground-based bar with music. Getting close to Islamorada as you go south, check out Marker 88. They don't do a web calendar that I could find, but they do paste what's happening on Facebook. This is a great place with a great view. It's got a really nice little beach stage, and they've made a beach for it, and there's beach tables. Music is really good there. They have a great open-air dining, nice big wraparound bar where you can listen to the music just about anywhere. But on the beach is best. I mean, it really is. My friend Billy Davidson, guy that produces my music, he plays there often, as well as many other local artists around this area. Play at Marker 88. It's worth the trip, and the food is really good. Food is excellent there. And then, of course, my favorite old standby is the Lorelei. As you get down into the heart of Islamorada, they have a calendar with locals playing, but they also bring in bands from up Miami way occasionally, and they're very, very good when they do. Again, Billy Davidson and Steve Webb play there. They're called Webb and Davidson. That's what's on the attractions list, as I like to call it. And the sunset's beautiful there. But Lorelei has just been around forever. It's got the big mermaid out front. You can't miss it when you're driving through Islamorada. Check it out, especially if you're there at sunset time. And the music that they bring in is excellent. Down in Marathon, give the Dockside Boot Key Harbor a look-see, along with the Overseas Pub and Grill. I haven't done the music thing there, I confess, but both places get great reviews from their patrons. And they also have music calendars on Facebook. So that's the Overseas Pub and Grill and the Dockside Boot Key Harbor in Marathon. In Big Pine Key, be sure to check out the largest tiki bar in the Keys, Boondocks. They only have music. I'm sorry, no, they not only have music, but they also have great live music with lots of specials throughout the week. Good food. They also have a miniature golf course. It is the only one in the Florida Keys, and it's all part of the bar. This place is really huge. Great place to get their burgers. Their burgers are outstanding. And you all know me well enough to know I'll do a burger in a heartbeat over fish at the bar. I'd much rather have a burger and a beer. So check them out, Big Pine Key. And then as you're moving further south, Stock Island. On Stock Island, the hidden gem found just before arriving in Key West, you find the Hogfish Bar and Grill. If you've skipped past this with mad intent to get yourself to Key West, you really are missing something that still has a feel of old-time Keys. I ain't kidding, man. It kind of looks a little shaky when you get into the heart of the place, but trust me, it's a bunch of old fishermen living there. Stock Island was the place where it still is, where a lot of the fresh fish and a lot of fresh crab, lobster, and stone crabs are brought in. So it's still a working port, if you will, for that. The food is excellent at Stock Island. I'm sorry, at the Hogfish Bar and Grill. That was an old Jimmy Buffett hangout back in the day. I mean, when he came to the Keys to hang out in the Keys, play music, visit people, he almost always could be found at some time or another up at the Hogfish. So just so you know. But it's a great hideout. Good food, excellent food. And then there's Key West, the music capital of the Florida Keys. I just made that up, but it seems appropriate to me. Online calendars are available for almost all the bars, with the biggies being Green Parrot, Sloppy Joe's, and Hog's Breath. And one of my favorites, the Schooner's Wharf. Some Key West tips here. The best traveling bands generally play late and on the weekends. Not always, but most of the time. They also are usually the late night bands starting around 9 or 10 o'clock at night. And they play into the morning hour. So a lot of times 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning. So be sure to take a nap beforehand. Also, keep an eye out for big-time singers in town this time of year. They love to drop in and sing a few hits before disappearing into the night. And they like, if they're not on tour, like right now, Kenny Chesney's not on tour, there's a really good chance he'll show up somewhere in Key West. He does almost every single winter, so don't be surprised. Tip part 2, I found this website called keywesttourist.com. Write it down. It's very. I've never been on it. I was just searching for music calendars and things like that, and I ran into this site, keywesttourist.com. It's really good and updated regularly with many of the live music locations and who's playing there and where. So, get your info there. They had a complete list of all the bars that I know of that do live music. So there you go. That's an easy way to keep track of Key West. And always, check those things out before you travel. You're coming down here, you'd be surprised how many really, really good artists are here for only a day or two, and you might hit at just the right time to see someone. Let's see, where am I going with this? Let's do. Hang on a second. I gotta close a page here that I opened up my computer and get back to my studio. There we go. See where I am. One of my favorite lure. I got some fishing news here, so let's do that first. Some fishing news. One of my favorite lure manufacturers, Z-Man, is in the process of expanding their manufacturing plant in South Carolina. This is good news because the popularity of their soft plastics is completely off the charts. They make some of the most amazing stuff, and it works. It works really well. I mean, just about every angler I run into is using one of these 3 companies anyway. The products in order are Z-Man, Berkeley Gulp, and DOA. Those are like the 3 leaders right now. I know there are many other soft plastics that have popped up and they're working really well, but Z-Man, Berkeley Gulp, and DOA seem to be, I don't want to call them kingpins, but they're definitely on the top. And they're 3 of my favorites as well. I use all 3 of those products. The Z-Man Elastec process is really unique. It's a soft plastic that stretches. It's surprisingly tough, especially with the toothy creatures we got down here in the Florida Keys. I love the undulating look that they have in water. Very real looking. Give them a try. I mean, if you just go to Z-Man and you do, like if you like to use, just castable, I call them stick baits, plastic stick baits, paddle tails, things like that. Give it a try. It's amazing. What I love about them again is fish that like to short hit them and rip the tail off, which even jacks can do that. It's nice to have something that just basically bounces loose when they let go of it and it's still whole. So you can run it right back out there. I know that anything in pearl white the snook love from Z-Man. I have caught plenty of snook on lots of their products, their jerkbait products. So check those out. And by the way, I don't know, well, it depends on where you're in the Keys. The snook seem to like a mid-size, like a 4-inch or 5-inch. Don't seem to be anywhere near as enthusiastic about a 7. But that was the case when I fished Southwest Florida. If I fished Naples up through Fort Myers, the bigger soft plastics work really well. So I don't know. It might be a sight thing. Fish can't see as well in the Southwest Florida waters. They're usually tannin or disturbed from storms, rain runoff. Down here, that's not the case. Most of the time, the water is really clear, and maybe just the smaller is a better imitation of what's in the water. And let me tell you what, snook are just like tarpon, man. They're wise fish. They really are. So if you can match the hatch, you'll do better. But their movement in water is really good, so give them a look-see. Next time you're in one of your local tackle shops, by all means, stop in and grab them. And of course, everybody knows what I love, so I'll get to that in a minute. Fishing, man, yeah, I was able to enjoy a wonderful and productive day on the water this past Friday. The wind completely let down early, and that turned Florida Bay into a beautifully flat, giant lake as far as you could see. It was one of those where the water meets the horizon, you can't see the line. It was just beautiful. Fish seem happy about it too. At least the ones that enjoy cooler water had no snook. I couldn't even find a snook. I searched the mangroves. I searched some of the open flats that I fished and seen them moving around in like little open cuts. And nope, I never even saw one. The water was, like I said, the water was 66 degrees in the morning, probably warmed up to 67, 68, but they, I don't know, snookers like that middle 70 and up, and they proved it that day. But I caught lots of fish. The tide was perfect with a morning negative low, high around 1 p.m. in the back. The water came screaming in, and I mean screaming in. I didn't have to use the trolling motor if I set up the boat right. The tide would just push me right down the mangrove wall I was working. Like I said, I'd love to get a nice snook or two, but that wasn't the case. However, I did get a lot of really great jacks and stuff, jacks and trout and ladies and all that fun stuff. My first stop was up where Florida Bay actually borders the Glades. The water was just moving in, and I managed to nail 7 jacks, all at about 2 to 3 pounds apiece. And I had several bumps and misses, more than several. I had 6, 7, or 8 bumps and misses. Could have been the same jack. I just threw it right back in the area and got one. But it was really fun. Great fights in tight quarters, let me tell you. And I was in tight quarters. I was fishing little creek entrances, little openings from the main water where the water would pour in or out of these little creeks, and that's where the fish were sitting. I even shot some video. I'm going to edit it into a short film and post it up on YouTube, so stand by. I set the camera up with me fishing, so I got some fishy shots. I actually got me hooking a couple fish. Miracle. You turn the camera on and you hope, but it happened, so that was nice. My next move was all the way west to an area near Eagle Key. That's up in the upper part of Florida Bay. I went looking for snook along the mangrove, and like I mentioned before, it didn't pan out, but I had to go there because it's one of my favorite spots to fish. I did get several barracudas and a very nice, let's see, how many? I think I got 5 snapper, nice size mangrove snapper. All of them eating artificial, so that was kind of a nice treat. The snapper, that is. The cudas will eat damn near anything you put in front of them. But anyway, so out west. And then I turned around and came back east to an area I call the Hump. This is out in the middle of a big old flat. There is this weird donut hole of sand surrounded by grass. And it's pretty good size, about the size of maybe an acre or so, about an acre. It's pretty good. You find the hole in the middle and then just work the outer edges. And at first the casts were nothing was responding. And I thought, oh gosh, the water's cold and they've moved. But no, lo and behold, I just kept on letting the wind kind of gently breathe. It wasn't even a wind. It was a breath of air. Current mostly moved me across this thing until I hit one. And as soon as I did, I put the power pole down, locked myself in place, and started working. And I got them good. I lost count on the trout. I have no idea how many. I turned the video back on so I could get a few shots of that. It was great. I got lots and lots of sea trout. Some big, some small. Some real small, but they were eating the artificial, so I don't care as long as it bends the rod. I also got some very feisty ladyfish. I think I hooked 1 cuda. It's funny how I'm seeing fewer barracuda this year than I saw last year. I don't know if they've relocated or what's going on, but that is kind of weird because every time I went out before, I'd get 7, 8, or 9 cudas and then finally find a fish. It's completely the opposite this time around, which makes me happy. But anyways, constant action for about 90 minutes. I pretty much used the Gulp Swimming Mullet in, you guessed it, pink shine. Yeah, that's my color. And also, I picked a colored DOA shrimp, which was kind of pinkish in color. It's pink with some metal flake inside of it, like a kind of almost a pale pink. And that worked really good. The trout loved that thing. And it was kind of fun to fish a cork again. I haven't done popping corks in a long time. Well, I've tried them, but not successfully. But that day it was successful. I didn't keep anything this time around. I just didn't feel like cleaning fish when I got home. I was looking forward to a late lunch and a couple of glasses of rum spiked eggnog. Thanks again, Magic, for that bottle of rum. I finally polished it off. Hey, man, you want to go fishing again? It was so nice being out on the water when it was mostly calm. Great visibility. Beautiful blue-green color that just covers Florida Bay. I also saw manatees, dolphins, and lots of migrating birds. I shot a bunch of video because I just needed to. I'm dying to show off what it looked like. Shot lots of photos, so I'm going to put something together this week on one of my movie piece of software, and try to get that up on YouTube. And I'll make sure to tell you about a link and talk about it on Catch Outdoors next week. So all in all, that was pretty fun. It really was. There's something about just the beauty of the water out there when it's like that. It's hard to go home. I'll tell you that. You just kind of want to, at one point, if you just get tired, you want to sit around and look and watch. The other nice thing for this little old guy here is the rough days are hard on my back. I have to stand a lot to navigate the boat just to take the brunt of the beating through my legs. And that was the day when I could just sit down and ride. It was like riding in a swimming pool. It was unreal. So good stuff. All right, it is time for useless information.
And now, from the original book of useless information.
You are a reject! You are useless! You can get a job down here cleaning toilets!
Here's your host, Captain Rob Modes.
Well, he swears up and down he's useless, but
he might be all right eventually, but completely useless.
With useless information.
And here we go with some sporting useless information. Let's see. In 1936, American track star Jesse Owens beat a racehorse over a 100-yard course. The horse was even given a head start. Sprinters on track teams started taking a crouching start in 1908. Soccer is played in more countries than any other sport. Yep. The first formal rules for playing baseball required the winning team to score 21 runs. Yeah, they must have gotten that from the, 21 volleyball. Everything was 21, obviously. 21 runs, people. How long would you beat a baseball game before they scored 21 runs? And so there you go. There you have it. Till next week. And before I go, here's some final words. I absolutely love Christmas season. I do. The lights, the get-togethers, the parties. The Keys are a fun place to be with parades, boat parades, and generally mucho holiday cheer. It's time for me to put up the outside lights and the inside Christmas tree. That's my goal right after I get finished recording this podcast. I know my cat Jackson will enjoy the Christmas tree. No, so far he's not been a tree wrecker. He just likes to curl up under it and take long naps. Sounds like a good idea, doesn't it? Take care, and I'll talk to y'all later. Thank you for tuning in. If you enjoyed listening, please tell a friend, leave a review, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. The Facebook page is Catch Ya Outdoors. The website is catchaoutdoors.com, where you can find all the previous podcasts and news about books and my music. Until next time, get outdoors and enjoy.